अब मत विभाजन,
because it's a constitutional amendment. The government needed 2/3, which was 360 votes. It doesn't have that, and the counts that have come in seem to suggest very clearly that the bill has been defeated.
As journalists and storytellers at Evescape, Goa's first women's media network, we often document history, even the moments that are difficult to witness. The defeat of the Nari Shakti Amendment Bill in the Lok Sabha on April 17 has sparked a massive wave of political debate. As media professionals, we have a unique responsibility to look beyond the surface level of this political gridlock. The clashing arguments involving women's quota, the 2011 census, and delimitation are complex. Our audience needs clarity, not just headlines.
This is an attempt to change the electoral map of India, using and hiding behind India's women. And actually it is a shameful act.
While media headlines and reports may be suggestive of the law itself being defeated, it is pertinent to note that the actual fact is very different. Make no mistake, the original 2023 Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam remains law. It may be stressed upon once again that the defeated April 17 bill was specifically an amendment package attempting to speed up its rollout and alter seat counts. While the Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam mandates 33% reservation for women in Lok Sabha and state assemblies, its implementation is delayed by census and delimitation requirements.
हम महिला आरक्षण के रास्ते में आने वाले हर रुकावट को खत्म करके रहेंगे, हटा करके रहेंगे। महिला आरक्षण का विरोध करने वाली पार्टियां ये देश की नारी शक्ति को संसद और विधानसभाओं में उनकी भागीदारी बढ़ाने से कभी भी रोक नहीं पाएंगे।
The legislative history of Women Reservation Bill in India suggests that major political parties have at various times either stalled or delayed its implementation for tactical reasons, often leading to our conclusion that no single party can claim absolute moral high ground. While reservation for women still remains in limbo, voluntary quotas serve as an immediate vital mechanism to ensure representation before the law formally takes effect. It is our earnest request to the women frontals of political parties, be it national or regional, who are to contest the upcoming elections of 2027, to make a strong case for voluntary quotas within their parties instead of indulging in blame game. In 2018, under the banner of India Women Caucus, Evescape had sounded the bugle for voluntary quotas for women in political parties. The 50 Women Leaders Roundtable organized at Margao for gender parity in decision-making roles spiraled into a pan-India movement, thus assuming the name Shakti, a non-partisan citizen collective in India dedicated to increasing female representation in parliament and state assemblies. While advocating for reservation, it also advocates voluntary party quotas to accommodate women. Because it is an established and common global practice used to bridge the gap between policy intent and actual representation. For example, countries such as Sweden, South Africa, and Germany have achieved high levels of women representation, primarily through voluntary party level commitments rather than constitutional mandates. The success of voluntary quotas has been demonstrated in India too. Parties like the BJD and TMC have previously experimented with fielding higher percentages of women candidates, some 33 to 40%, to demonstrate political will. Adopting voluntary quotas is not just a social imperative but a strategic political move. For example, attracting the women vote. As you are aware, women voters in India and in Goa particularly have increasingly high turnout rates, sometimes exceeding men. Parties that proactively field women can position themselves as champions of women power. Statistics show that women candidates often have a higher winning percentage than men despite being fielded in fewer seats. Why wait for a law? With Goa already leading the way with a 33% gender specific budget, the question on the ground is simple. Why can't parties nominate 33% women candidates today without a constitutional trigger? In conclusion, when systemic spaces fall short, our voices must grow. Let's use our collective expertise to break down what it means for local representation in Goa and the future of women in Indian politics. Let us lead the conversation with the depth it deserves. Let's channel our disappointment into powerful, unwavering commitment. Our voices are certainly not subject to a floor vote.